All right. Good morning, everybody. All you beautiful people. I hope everybody is doing well. Um, if there's anything going on, please feel free to drop in the chat. Let us think about it a little bit. What an important thing to talk about, though, is, and I just want to spread the word as much as possible, is Russia, as of August 28th, 2025, has launched rockets and missiles into just populated areas. No military targets at all. Spread the word all around because it's absolutely ridiculous that they are not being held to the same standards that, say, a certain country of a certain religion in the Middle East gets held to. Just a thought. Just an idea. But, here we are. Now that that's put to bed, I was watching Speak the Truth over there with Matt Tardio earlier, and shout out to him because he's a massive, super intelligent, super cool dude. Love watching him. So if you need daily updates of conflict and geopolitical stuff, go give that a shot. However, for all you beautiful people here, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I will get into what we are doing today. We are flying from Detroit, where we took off 21 right, and we are venturing down here to Dallas, DFW. So, you see here's our route. We got Seaver 4 for our star, and a transition of the RRNet. And you see we already have this all plugged in here in our FCU. We're currently just cruising. We're at 36,000 feet. You see that's 38,000 feet. I just scrolled up to 38,000 feet and just let it sit where the flight plan has it going. You see here we're in this gorgeous old school stainless steel. As I mentioned, the Home Alone library, however you pronounce it. 737-800, looking gorgeous. Man, I do love that old logo right there, the double A. That was a sweet one. As you can see, we're about 40 miles from TOD, so I'll scroll down our target altitude. That way, it will just kind of gently begin its descent. And then, as you guys all know, I take over and hand fly at 10,000 feet down to landing. It usually gets pretty comical. So stay tuned, guys. I'm very passionate about my flying and doing landings well. So, speaking of which, if anyone has any comments or suggestions for what I could be doing with this channel, because as you might have already been able to tell, I am not a YouTuber. So, any suggestions you have on what I could be doing to make this better, please drop them in the comments, because obviously that'd be awesome. And I've heard the video game streaming community is one of the nicest and most nurturing to other people. I heard some line from some third party yesterday that was, there's $12 trillion in the world. There's plenty for everybody. So there's a big old pie out there. Everybody can get some. And And I know that, and no, I'm not a socialist or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is there's a lot of money to be earned if you have a good or a service, or nowadays, personality that people like. And and I'm not like a boomer saying streamer's not a job. No, I'm saying you actually have to have a personality and be a likable person, you know. I mean, you see my videos don't get any views because I'm not a likable person. No, I'm kidding, folks. No, really, I just do this, honestly, because my son wants me to. And his happiness makes me happy. So, you guys just get to hear me ramble on. Isn't it grand? Here comes TOD. So, we'll actually start getting serious here soon. If you remember, I'm not good if I get distracted by talking to you guys. So, I'm going to try to do my best to focus on the flight once we start descending. You know, as a real pilot should. Anyone got any weird hobbies? Like, obviously, flight simulators, and probably a lot of people that are watching this video are flight simulator enthusiasts. So that might be one hobby, obviously. And then the other one would likely be spending money on cockpit and cockpit accessories. But besides those two, anyone got any weird ones? Me, for instance, I have chickens. In our backyard, we live in a neighborhood, but I have just 2 little hens that give us eggs for me and the family. So that's fun. We also have a garden that we do. We grow corn, vegetables, and salad stuff like that, and some herbs. That's fun. Oh man! And also, I've got these massive, gorgeous honeysuckle bushes that I grew on the edge of my property line, where there was a chain link fence that looked so ugly. And now those honeysuckle bushes are starting to really form a hedge along that chain link fence. Pretty stoked about it. And as promised, guys, here comes TOD and the ending of me vamping. Alright, I'll start the video now. Hey everyone, here we are coming into Dallas Metroplex. We're coming into DFW. You see here we're in the trusty old 737-800. Looks so good. The Home Alone livery, as I call it. Double A icon on the end. Always gorgeous. Right. See here we are coming down in. We're going to run through setting our minimums, our barometric pressure, and then our VREFs together. Alright, ready? We've already plugged in our route here. We've already spun our altitude target down. That could actually be right about there for DFW. You'll learn this as you fly. If you've been watching the channel for a minute, you'll know that it's a hot topic of discussion whether or not you should run your landing lights in the day in nice weather. You know, a friend of mine thinks you should. So now I turn them on all the time. But, you know, lights on for safety and all that. Anywho, here you see we got a decent wind. We'll see what runway we're assigned real quick. I just put this in and I can never remember it. 18 right is where we got it. So that works for the 200. That'll be slightly off our port side. But you see here our barometric pressure is at 3002. So let's roll over here. We're going to grab the baro spin and turn that up to 3002. There we go. You see, since I spun down the target altitude, autopilot and your VNav went ahead and began the descent for me. Now, oftentimes, you really have to watch the descent rate because you will be very, very high in your descent, and then the computer will all of a sudden decide that it needs to be right on altitude, and you'll look up and you're in a 15-degree downturn. You're like, what is going on right now? And you have to pop it out there, pop it out of autopilot faster than you normally would. Alright, see here, I already have the RNAV chart pulled up for 18 right. You see the minimums recommended are 806. So let's go ahead and set that, and if you were in VNav you'd use this obviously, but this is line of sight. And that's the way we do it here on Dock Hook Flying, is LOS, because I like to fly these babies in. Does anybody know if humming gets you copyrighted? Like if you're just humming a tune? Because I might be in trouble if that's the case. I am always humming or singing a song. How about you guys? Any favorites? Do you hum often? Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Well, tell me what you think about anything. Really. A lot has been said. It's pretty weather though outside. See what we're looking at as we're coming in. The radar looked pretty clear, and as you saw, the METAR didn't seem scary. So we'll just keep an eye out, make sure we don't hit anything crazy. Oh, look at that, I called it. I had a feeling. It's like in my gut. It's the way those clouds were looking right there. Good job, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Do you guys sleep on flights? I do. I don't know how anybody stays awake on a flight, to be honest. Although there was one flight. It was from Dubai to, I want to say, Paris. And it's like a, I want to say, 8-hour flight. So I had upgraded for like $100. It was like a last minute upgrade thing. $100, and I ended up just upgrading to Economy Plus, I think is what it was called, either at the time or, you know, they might have rebranded it now. Anyway, the hitch was you got like 6 inches of extra leg space, but on international flights, and here's the key, ladies and gentlemen, international flights at that point had free drinks in Economy Plus. So, my math brain, of course, said 8-hour flight, $100 bar tab, bet. I got it. And boy, did I. But 8 hours, you got plenty of time to do what you need to do, and then pass out and wake up refreshed, ready to take on Paris. So, pretty awesome. Anybody else? International flight stories? Drop them in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. I was going to start a international trip here soon, as far as on the simulator, at the end of this week, just to do some long hauls. I've been flying this 737 for a long time because we're doing this competition, the virtual airline that I fly with. We've got a competition going on currently, and it's pretty heated, so I've been doing a lot of short hops because you get credit, right, for the amount of times you land and take off. So if you've noticed, these past few videos have been relatively short hops with some mediums in there. But yeah, we're pretty far ahead, so it might be time that I can just start doing that international trip early. I say that to say this: do you guys have any suggestions for destinations? That is the key of what I am excited to hear your thoughts on, is good destinations. Maybe if you're watching from somewhere around the world, drop your nearest international airport in there, and we'll see if we can hit it. I've done this before when the Phoenix simulations first dropped the Airbus 321 that they did 2 years ago, I think. I want to say it's a great airplane. However, when it came out, I was like, hey, I think it'd be a cool idea to do an around the world trip using actual Airbus A321 routes for different airlines where possible. Sometimes you'd have to book a specific route to go somewhere that maybe they didn't service, but for the main, I would say almost 80% of the routes that we ended up simulating were like actual routes that airlines fly, and in a lot of times one world partners. That's what I tried to default to, was one world partners. So actual A321 routes for one world partners. See, we're getting here about 23,000 feet we're passing through now. That slight weather just off our starboard side. And you see here, we're gonna pretty much skirt around it, it looks like. Nothing massive, that's for sure. And yeah, no, I fly with when I'm flying offline, I keep the TCAS off, if you guys are seeing that. And the reason for that is I'm flying offline. So, there's no reason for it. This PMDG really is cool, though. It is one of the... it's pricey. But it really was worth it when I got it. I even got the 900, and I got the 737-900 too. So, obviously, I was a fan. But yeah, no, I think they do a great job over there. Interior modeling and stuff. We'll see for our next flight if I can... GSX was giving me a lot of issues, so it hasn't been loading correctly, so it hasn't been loading in the passengers back here either. and they've gone through like 15 different updates. It seems like every time I try to open that, it says new updates. So maybe they're working something out over there at the FSDT team. If you work for FSDT and you're watching the stream, hit me up. I'm a really good Scrum Master, and we'll get you back online. We are passing through 20,000 feet. You see here, we will go along right here, and that is where we will catch into the final approach turn for DFW. We are, just to remind everybody, or if you're just joining us, we are heading for DFW 18 right. We seem to have a decent... weather's kind of changing. I mean, I didn't see anything on the radar, but... and there's nothing on the... no remarks on the ATIS, so I'm led to believe it's going to be a pretty smooth, decent arrival. But, you know, we'll see what we get when we get down there. You know, as I do traditionally, I will take over the sticks from autopilot at 10,000, and we fly it in and we discuss things as we're flying. I am in no way a professional pilot, so oftentimes I get in very interesting predicaments that would probably defy airline codes and procedures. But, you know, this is a simulation, and as you just saw, I have no people in the back. So, and not even a co-pilot, just a voice of a flight attendant. So, it's just me, just simulated old me. So, nothing to worry about if anything goes wrong. But no, we generally land. It's just never point A to point B sometimes. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying it. And if you are, please like, subscribe, tell your friends. I have no idea how to do a YouTube channel, so feel free to comment suggestions on what the channel could be doing, or also the destinations that you think I should be going to. Everything is welcome. Any kind of feedback, suggestions help. Even good blessings, tidings, warm feelings, solar energy, so on and so forth. Speaking of, not sure if I mentioned, but if you guys have anything that's weighing heavy on you, please drop in the chat. Let us know. Let us think about you while you're going through whatever you're going through, because everybody's going through something. Having more positive energy out there is never a bad thing. Chat's flying up. You guys are going wild. No, more positive energy is never a bad thing. You know, I really think we should be asking our president what is going on with Russia bombing the absolute crap out of Kiev last night. We need answers, because there's literally war crimes on television, and we are quick to judge Israel for them, but we say nothing, absolutely nothing to Russia. In fact, we invite him on our land, give him a good show, and then he bombs Kiev. He bombs an American company. he bombs the British, I think it was like a cultural embassy type of deal. That's what those missiles were targeting. I think they didn't actually hit it. I think it was a little ricocheted. However, the damage in the residential area that the missiles were fired into was massive. Absolutely massive. But you don't see the purple haired people crying over that. I rest my case. Anyway, let's get after this flying so I stop talking. We're just gonna go. We are flying offline, so we have nothing to worry about. I am going to go direct ICL, get this party started. Get the party started. Yeah, somebody's really gonna have to let me know if just like saying random parts of a song will get you copyrighted or not, because I have no idea. Drop that in the comment pretty quickly, because that would be important to know in my fledgling YouTube streamer career. Let's take a moment to give a big shout out to this channel's #1 subscriber, Jackson. Thank you, Jackson, for being such a great subscriber and, helping us do what we're doing here. We love you, buddy. I hope you're having a fantastic day at school. Alright, we gotta get down to 4,000, so let's go ahead and take over. We're gonna throw full brakes, ladies and gentlemen. I am gonna show you how you do a pretty aggressive approach. But I will say this. I have found that in busier airspaces, like metro places, when you're online, and so therefore traditionally in IRL, it is commonplace to not exactly have a long, massive, unless they're lining you up. If they tell you to get down to an altitude to then get in line in your space, you get down to that altitude, you throw the brakes, you do whatever you gotta do, you get down to 4 grand to fall in the line that they need you to fall into on the approach path. However, it's been known that they can have you be holding at 7,000. There's steps down in the approach process, but we decide not to follow those. So we're throwing the brakes and we're going hard. I think I was mentioning earlier, I gave a shout out to Speak the Truth podcast. If you guys have not checked out that YouTube channel, it's run by a buddy of mine from Army Special Forces group. Anyway, Matt Tardio, he's a super intelligent dude. This guy's head on straight. Check him out. Here we go. See, we basically doubled our descent rate. Instead of doing 1,000, we're going 2,000 down. And we're keeping the brakes up, obviously, to stay under the 250 knot mile an hour for American airspace when you are in 10,000 feet and below. Sorry folks, I had to put on some chapstick. Been talking too much. As you all are very aware. And here we go, folks. You see we're basically in line to hit that 4,000 on the mark. So let's go ahead and bring our nose up a little bit. Let our speed start dropping down as well, because basically when we hit that 4,000, we want to be hitting flaps 1. So that is kind of the rhythm we're aiming for, if that makes sense. What I did there was just basically turn off the safety. I don't know, it's a habit. I don't know why. I really don't. But also we have, pulled up parking brake. We're going to go ahead and adjust our trim because autopilot likes to roll it all the way up to like 6. I don't like to fly at 6, so there we go. We're just south of 5. That works. Got our landing lights on. We have flight attendants prepared for landing. We have notified the flight attendants. We are good to go. DFW. Let's get after it. We'll see what version of DFW MSFS has loaded for me today. It is often a gamble. I have not figured out why, but sometimes I will get a very old, very non-existent DFW, which might be reminiscent of the first, the first DFW, first airport that was DFW, but not of today, and I was like landing on a dirt runway. However, sometimes it loads the perfectly modern, third-party one that's in there. We'll see what happens. It is just a crapshoot every time. We have no idea which DFW. Will the runway be there? Yes? No? Drop in the chat. What do you think? It is runway 18 right. And will we catch the right localizer instead of a runway beside it in this crowded airport? Oh boy! Is that Mickey Mouse? Oh boy! No, don't do that. Oh man, I hope you guys are having such a wonderful Thursday. World's going to hell in a handbasket, but you know what? We can still have good days personally. And I hope you are, is what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting after. Let's go ahead and go flaps 1. We were a little early. You see I got a little lower than I wanted to, but we'll make up for it. Let's see. Boom. Got it. Alright, we're good to go. We'll get lined up, we'll drop these landing gears, and we will give it a landing. And you see I got well down. So we're going to pull up our nose here. Gotta not lose any more altitude for a little bit. We'll probably lose, or no. We'll see what we need to be at on the next checkpoint before we make any decisions. Yeah, okay, so we're good till the T to not lose much. Cool. Or not lose any, Jesus. Come on. Come on, baby. There we are. You know what you guys let me forget to do? And look, the MCU's yelling at me already. We forgot to do our VREF. VREF plus 5. As always. We did 30, 153 for anybody who cannot see that. Alright, my trim is still set how I want it instead of how autopilot wants it, regardless of how much spinning you hear down there. What is going on? Quit it. Alright, let's find this runway here. Jesus, where am I going? Get together, Justin. I knew I was going to lose altitude there. Alright. Let's wait until we see the runway and then we'll pop our gears. Man, this feels like I'm... there it is. It was my perspective that had me feeling like we were just pointed way too far up. Alright, here we go, guys. Finally. Jesus, right? You got me. You got me. 3 days from now, he lands in Dallas. I promise it will not take 3 minutes. We're going to get you down there, folks, as soon as possible. We are just having a little fun up here. And also, not entirely sure which airport is going to load in of our simulated video game. However, please bear with us as the computer loads in the correct runway. I see it now. It's 20% loaded. It should be plenty loaded by the time we arrive there. Expect the McDonald's to be loading shortly after we arrive. Alright, I don't want to be gaining altitude though. Come on, calm down. What are we doing? Here we are. God damn. Sorry. Look at all these runways. Like, at what point, DFW, do you just go, do we have too many runways? Like, could we maybe have less people? Or have bigger, or sorry, have more hubs. There we are. We clearly need to upgrade our hub statuses because, you know, overpopulation and stuff. Alright, there we go. Gears down. We're lined up. Perfect timing too, because, you know, no more vamping. No more dad's thoughts on this. So wind coming in at 216 at 23 knots. So a little bit higher than predicted. Luckily it's still sort of off our bow. I mean, I might have to be crabbing a little bit here. Probably. Yep. You can see here we've got our indicators here, so we did grab the right localizer, despite my needing to look down and grab the VREF real quick. Here we go, we're good to start descending to. We lost about 500 feet of altitude where the guide would have called for dropping from 3K right here to 2400. So we're back in line with the glide slope. However, it is just not. Let's get all the way prepared. That's why. Yep. VNAV. Approach. Nope. Approach. There we go. Boom. Now we'll get to our ref. Oh, jeez. You know, a normal pilot, a good pilot, a real pilot would have called off the landing there. But that's not what we do here at Dock Hook Flying. No. We nosedive. And then we get back on the glide path. Because that's the proper way to do things. There we go. Alright, we're back in it.
1,000.
Sorry about that, folks. Had to... God, I don't know what I would tell the passengers at that point. Their ride just got terrifying. But for like a brief second, blame it on turbulence at that point. God, look at DFW. Jeez, it's huge. One day it will load all the way. Maybe when they get done with construction around DFW, the DFW in Microsoft Flight Simulator will finally load. Okay.
plus 100. Minimums. 100.
Ooh, that wind got really bad.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
I mean, guys, you really gotta start taking notes on how I fly. Oh, goodness, that is just... wow. I mean, was that center point? I think it was center point. I think it was within the markers. I think it was center point. I think they could shut up about that little nosedive we did back there. Oh, boy. Alright, guys. Well, I really appreciate you all hopping on this live stream with me. You made it all super fun, super enjoyable. The comments were crazy. And yes, the passengers are most likely terrified. But you know what? As we say here at Doc Hook Flying, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our stream for today. I'll see you all. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep doing it. We'll see. Have a good day, regardless.